You think my dreams are too big? You're telling them to the wrong person. You don't believe in you. You deserve to live your best life. There was a time in Eric Thomas's life when silence wasn't golden, it was survival. A young man, abandoned, homeless, eating out of trash cans, curled up on the cold floors of abandoned buildings. He wasn't chasing dreams then. He was chasing sleep, the next moment of peace. No one gave him permission to dream, and yet, here he is. Dr. Eric Thomas, the #1 motivational speaker in the world, not because someone handed him a mic, but because he decided, I am. Have you ever felt like you're standing in a room full of noise, but the only voice you can't hear is your own? You scroll, you work, you check off tasks, but the fire, that burning knowing that you are meant for more, simmers unfed. The truth is, it's not the world that silences us, it's us. We give ourselves away, one compromise at a time, one excuse, one delay, until we forget that the permission we've been waiting for was never theirs to give. It was ours. Most people are taught to obey before they learn to think, to follow rules before they understand their worth. Somewhere along the way, we confuse approval with validation. We chase likes, we seek applause, but we forget applause fades. Purpose doesn't. You were born with something the world needs, but only you can unlock it. Only you can step forward. And sometimes stepping forward means stepping away from noise, from doubt, from every voice that isn't your own. Eric calls it the jammed gun moment. In the Navy, the first thing they teach you isn't how to fight, it's how to carry a dead body. How to deal when the gun jams. Why? Because that's when it counts. Not when things are smooth, but when everything breaks. Greatness isn't born in clarity, it's forged in chaos. And like diamonds, we are cut before we shine. When Eric's wife was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, she didn't just face illness, she faced the death of her identity. A nurse, a healer, now told to quit. She cried, not from fear, but from losing her why. Eric listened, then calculated. $5,000 a month, $60,000 a year, $1.8 million for a lifetime. That became his fire. He didn't want a Rolls Royce. He wanted her to never clock in again. He studied MS like it was his own. Moved their family to San Diego for the sun, for her healing. That's what purpose looks like. The world will always give you a reason to wait. You're too young, you're too old, it's too risky, too late. But every day you delay is a piece of yourself left on the table. And your dream? It's not gonna wait forever. It grows impatient, buried but breathing, aching to be seen. So many of us carry invisible contracts, agreements we never signed but still obey. Be smaller. Don't make waves. Stay in line. But what if breaking those rules is exactly what sets you free? What if choosing you is the most courageous act you could make? Ask yourself, what dream have you buried because someone laughed? What part of you did you shrink because it made others uncomfortable? What voice have you ignored because the crowd was louder? Because here's the truth. You don't need their permission to become who you were born to be, but you do need yours. You need to stop making excuses. You need to stop waiting for the right time. The right time is when you decide. Right now. If this stirred something in you, don't silence it. Sit with it. Breathe through it. And then speak something new into your day. Even if it's just a whisper, say it. I am. Not someday. Not if they clap. Just now. Because you owe it to yourself. Not because it's easy, but because it's yours. They thought they broke you. They thought that setback would stop you. They thought wrong. Some days, it will feel like the whole world is against you. The bills don't care about your dreams. The diagnosis doesn't ask if it's a good time. Life shows up uninvited, loud, messy, merciless. And when it does, it doesn't knock. It kicks the door in. Eric Thomas knows what that feels like. He didn't read about it in a book. He lived it. He watched his wife get a diagnosis that felt like a sentence. 7 lesions. They said she might not walk again. They said she had to quit the job she loved. And Eric? He didn't flinch. He did the math. He found the fire. He said, if she can't work, I'll work for 2. He didn't get angry. He got up earlier. He didn't break. He broke records. Because when the world throws you into a storm, you don't wait for it to pass. You become the anchor. You become the thunder. There's a phrase in the Navy, you're not trained for when everything works. You're trained for when the gun jams, when your teammate falls. You learn how to carry dead weight, because one day, it might be the only way the mission survives. And in life, some days will feel exactly like that. Heavy, hopeless, like you're dragging everything you love through the mud. That's when it counts. Not when the sun is shining, not when the crowd is cheering, when it's just you, the dark, and the decision to take one more step. That's where champions are made. Eric buried 5 ants while building his business. He got calls that broke his heart and still boarded flights to speak. He didn't stop when it hurt. He stopped when it was done. Because to him, pain wasn't a punishment. It was proof he was still in the fight. And you might feel like quitting, like folding, like crawling back to comfort. But if you give up now, you'll never know how close you were. You'll never see what could have been. You'll trade purpose for peace and wonder why it never feels enough. Every punch life throws is asking you one question. How bad do you want it? Bad enough to get back up when you've been knocked down 10 times? Bad enough to work while grieving? To train while tired? To believe when no one else does? You're not in a setback. You're in training. You're not losing. You're being carved into something stronger. The pressure isn't punishment, it's preparation. And yes, there will be nights when you doubt it all, when your body aches and your spirit breaks, when you wonder if this fight is even worth it. That's where the old you would have stopped. But you're not that person anymore. You've seen too much. You've felt the burn. And you know, what's on the other side of this is not comfort. It's clarity. No one said it would be fair. No one said it would be easy. But the great ones, they don't need easy. They need purpose. And if you've made it this far, if you're still breathing, still listening, still standing, then purpose is already inside you. So ask yourself, what are you made of? Who are you when no one's watching? Will you be the one who folded or the one who fought through the night and came out blazing? You will not break. You will not quit. You will not be defeated. Because the only way you lose is if you quit, and quitting is not an option. Not today, not ever. Because after you've stood in the fire and didn't run, comes the moment you decide who you really are. And that moment, it's waiting for you right now. They doubted you. Fine, you doubted yourself. That ends now, because this is your year. You've been through the fire. You've stood in storms that should have broken you. But here you are, breathing, standing, aware. That means one thing, you're not done. You're different now. This isn't about hype. It's not about resolutions that fade by February. This is declaration. It's decision. It's the moment you draw a line in the sand and say, that version of me, the one who hesitated, who settled, who waited, he's done. Eric Thomas didn't just wake up motivated. He built it, brick by brick, day by day. He looked temptation in the face, partying, distractions, comfort, and said, not today. While others chased comfort, he chased clarity. He chose to lock in, to study when it was easier to sleep, to sacrifice when it was easier to spend, to speak when it was safer to be silent. Because greatness isn't found in the spotlight. It's forged in silence, in the hours no one sees, in the choices no one applauds. And those choices, they build something no one can take from you: identity. You don't get what you want. You get what you're willing to commit to. Not once, not twice, every single day. You don't need more time. You need more focus. You don't need more motivation. You need a mission. And here's the truth. You can't take the new you into the new year dragging the old weight. You've got to cut it. The excuses, the stories, the people who keep pulling you back, the habits that dilute your fire. Let them go, or they'll go with you and burn everything you're building. This year isn't about doing more. It's about becoming more. Sharper, clearer, relentless. Not perfect, but present. Not fearless, but faithful. Not loud, but locked in. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you're voting for the future you want. Every time you say no to what's easy, you're saying yes to who you're becoming. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't need their permission. You don't have to prove anything, but you do have to show up for you. Because this is your moment to reclaim every part of you that you gave away trying to fit in, to rebuild every dream you shelved for safety, to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. So when the doubts come, and they will, you remind them, I'm not going back. I've come too far. When the old habits knock, you don't answer. When fear whispers, you speak louder. When life tests your resolve, you smile. Because this time, you're not just trying, you're choosing. And if you stumble, get back up. Not because it's easy, but because you remember why you started. Not for them, for you, for your legacy, for the version of you that's watching, hoping, waiting to be unleashed. This is your year. Not because the calendar says so, but because you do. Every single day you decide. Now say it. I'm not going back. I've come too far. And let me tell you something else. They're watching. Your kids, your friends, your younger self. The version of you who once thought this life was impossible. They're waiting to see if you'll finally choose you. Not the safer version. Not the watered down version. But the real you. Because choosing you isn't selfish. It's sacred. It tells the world, I honor what's inside me. I protect my calling. I won't abandon myself again just to make others comfortable. You are not here to blend in. You are here to stand tall, to build what only you can build. And that means some days will feel lonely. It means people may not understand. But legacy isn't built through popularity. It's built through persistence, through the quiet work done behind closed doors. So today you choose clarity over chaos, purpose over perfection, movement over mood. You do it tired, you do it uncertain, but you do it anyway. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about returning to who you've always been. And when the sun sets today, ask yourself, did I show up like it's my year? Did I act like someone who's not going back? Because if you do that day after day, the world won't just watch, it'll follow. This is your year. You don't need luck. You don't need loud, you need relentless. Now say it again. I'm not going back. I've come too far. You've waited long enough. You've doubted long enough. It's time. You don't need another sign. You are the sign. Everything you've been through, the losses, the letdowns, the lonely nights, wasn't meant to break you. It was meant to break you open. Inside you is something the world needs. Not a copy, not a version, but the raw, powerful, unfiltered you. The one who's been whispering beneath the noise, waiting for permission. This is it. Eric Thomas calls it a permission slip, not one that comes from your parents, your boss, or society, one that comes from you. Signed in courage, sealed with commitment, delivered with fire. Because greatness, it doesn't ask. It declares, it doesn't knock. It kicks doors in, and the ones who rise, they don't wait, they become. You are not behind, you are not late, you are not broken, you're becoming. Every second you chose not to quit, you were building. Every tear you cried in silence, it watered the roots, and now it's time to bloom. So if you're tired of shrinking, stop. If you're tired of explaining, stop. If you're tired of asking for approval, stop. You don't owe anyone an apology for wanting more, for being more. Say it. I don't owe anyone an apology. You owe yourself greatness, not comfort, not survival, greatness. And that only comes when you give yourself full permission to show up. Stand in the mirror today and say it out loud. I am, I am, I am. Not perfect, not fearless, but ready. This isn't about proving them wrong. This is about proving yourself right. That the voice inside you, the one they told you to quiet, is the one you need to follow. And yes, it will be hard. Yes, you'll want to quit. But in those moments, remember this. You've already made it through what tried to destroy you. So what's ahead doesn't stand a chance. You're not chasing greatness. You are greatness in motion. And if the world ever makes you forget, come back here. We'll remind you at Mindset Mastery Hub. Now go. Greatness is upon you. And as you walk into this new season, don't walk small. Don't whisper when your soul wants to roar. This world doesn't need another mask. It needs your truth. Every person you'll impact, every door that will open, starts with you saying yes to your own voice. That whisper that's been with you since the beginning, it's not going away. It's not a phase, it's your purpose. So let this be the year you stop watching and start becoming. Let this be the chapter where you stop surviving and start leading. Let this be the moment you stop doubting and start declaring, I am ready, I am worthy, I am already everything I need to be. Now move, not with fear, with faith, because this life doesn't wait, and neither should you. Because when you stop asking for permission and start moving with intention, everything shifts. Suddenly, the fear that once froze you becomes fuel. The doubt that once defined you becomes data, and the silence, that becomes your strategy. You were never meant to play small. Your dreams are not liabilities. Your fire is not too much. It's proof you're alive. So burn so bright that people who've been walking in the dark find their path again. Your story isn't finished. It's just beginning. The chapters ahead, they don't write themselves. You write them with every choice, every word, every moment you show up. And maybe some won't understand. Maybe they'll whisper. Let them. You're not here to be understood. You're here to be undeniable. So raise your head, loosen your grip on who you thought you had to be. Breathe deeper, speak louder, love harder, show up fuller. And remember this, every time you forget your power, we'll be right here. Not to push you, but to remind you. You are worthy. You are ready. You are the answer you've been waiting for. And if the world ever makes you forget who you are, come find your fire again, here at Mindset Mastery Hub.